What's up, everyone? Welcome to Mana Chamber. Today we're doing a ranking video. Been a minute since I've done this. I've been kind of slacking on it a little bit. I should have done the Lord of the Rings one well before Wilds of Eldraine came out, but you know, who am I? What am I? It doesn't always happen. Life's not always perfect. Anyway, we're going to be ranking all of the commanders that you could possibly play as, or should I say legendary creatures you could possibly play as commanders from the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth set. I'm going to be, ranking them from basically best to worst. I'm going to just do the good ones to the bad ones. We'll pick a best, we'll pick a worst. Let's see what we got here. First one, Aragorn and Arwen Wed. For a white, a green, and 4, human elf noble, 3/6 with vigilance. Whenever they enter the battlefield or attack, you put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. You gain 1 life for each other creature you control. So they're a big payoff, I guess, if you're doing like a token deck, if you got a lot of creatures out. Could be pretty cool. I'm gonna put them in a. I feel like maybe if you're bouncing them, you have a lot of bounce and white, maybe some. I'll go ahead and throw him in C tier for me, dog. Okay, we'll move on to Aragorn, company leader, a white, a green, and 1, human ranger, 3/3. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Aragorn, company leader, as your ring bearer, put your choice of a counter from among First Strike, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink on Aragorn. Whenever you put one or more counters on Aragorn, put one or more of each of those kinds of counters on up to one other target creature. So, okay. So he can get, I guess, all of these, and you can spread them out. Yeah, I think this is better than the last Aragorn, honestly. Like, that's pretty dope. He also got, he's a low-cost commander. I think this is nasty. I'm going to give this... Man, I don't even know. I feel like I'm going to give this an A. That sounds good. Sounds fun to me. Alright, we got the next Aragorn the Uniter for a blue, a white, a green, and red. A 4-color commander. There are very few of those, so this is super intriguing to me. He's a human noble, 5/5. Whenever you cast a white spell, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, Aragorn the Uniter deals 3 damage to target opponent. Whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 until the end of the turn. I think this is so nasty. I've played against tons of decks with this. Very, very cool commander, in my opinion. Arwen, Mortal Queen, a white, a green, and 1. Elf Noble. She's a 2/2. Whenever she enters the battlefield with an indestructible counter on her, you can pay 1. Remove that counter from her. Another target creature gains indestructible until the end of the turn. Put a +1/+1 counter and a lifelink counter on that creature, and a +1/+1 counter and a lifelink counter on Arwen. So that's pretty cool. Again, if you can get her back out to get those counters moving more, that's kind of cool. She seems kind of okay. I'm gonna throw her in the C tier as well. Then we got Arwen Undamile. Hopefully I said that right. For a blue and a green elf noble, 2/2. Whenever you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Pay a blue, a green, and 4 to scry 2. I got no problems with this. You're going with the scry deck. This is pretty nasty. I'll throw this in the C as well. Alright, next up we got Bilbo, Retired Burglar, which I recently recorded a video around him. Go check it out. He's a red, a blue, and 1. He's a 1/3 halfling rogue. Whenever he enters or leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. He's kind of fun. I also throw him in the C tier for me. He's also just a little bit slow. We got Bill Fernie, Bree Swindler, a blue and 1 human rogue, 2/1. When he becomes blocked, choose 1. Create a treasure, or target opponent gains control of target horse you control. If they do remove him, Bill Fernie, from combat and create 3 treasure token. It's so strange. You're gonna have like horses in your deck, in blue if you have him as a commander. It's just weird. It's a big weird to me, dog. I suppose it could be really good, but making the treasure, like, I'm down with, but you have to have good payoffs. This is an F tier for me on this one. Like, I'm super intrigued on making a deck around it because it's so, like, janky. Anyway, Bill the Pony, our cute boy, a 1 and 3, a horse. He's a 1/4. When he enters the battlefield, you create 2 food tokens. Sacrifice a food token until the end of the turn. Target creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. I think this is actually BA, my dog. Bill the Pony. He's going in B for Bill. Straight up. Jump into Boromir, Warden of the Tower. A white and 2 human soldier, 3/3 with vigilance. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. Bada boop, bada bam. You can sacrifice him, and creatures you control gain indestructible until the end of the turn. The ring tempts you. Just a nice little shut him down deck. I got no problems with it. How often do people cast spells for no mana? I mean, on Cascade, you could really shut a Cascade deck down. That's pretty mean. I don't know. I think I'm throwing this one in the D tier for me on the moment. I mean, against the right deck, solid, but just in general, not. We got Butterbur, Bree, Innkeeper for a white, a green, and 2 human peasant, 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, if you don't control a food, create a food token. You're going lots of food. Gonna be fooded out. I don't have a huge issue with this. Gain lots of life. I think I'll throw this in D as well. It's Celeborn, the Wise, a green and 3, Elf Noble, 3/3. Whenever you attack with one or more elves, scry 1. Whenever you scry, put a +1, or he gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn for each card looked at while scrying this way. So you just want to scry a lot and then swing. I mean, he's chill. He's just mighty chill. I think I'll throw him in the D tier as well. Denethor, Ruling Steward, a black, a 1. A black, a white, and 1. Human Noble, 2/4. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Pay 2. Sacrifice another creature. Each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. I don't know. I find him fun. I like stuff like this. I like Orzhov for stuff like this. You know, you do a lot of killing your dudes. You can even kill the human soldier token you make. I'm kind of down with it. I'm going to throw him in the B tier. Elanor Gardener for a green and 3, halfling scout, 2/4. When she enters the battle, create a food token. At the beginning of your end step, if you sacrificed a food token this turn, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle. So basically ramp and life gain. You want to keep adding more food with her. She's kind of cool though. I'm kind of cool with it. I like the ramp aspect. Because of that, I think I'm going to throw her in C tier. We got Elrond, Lord of Rivendell for a blue and 2. He's a 3/2 elf noble. Whenever him or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you scry 1. If this is the second time this ability is resolved this turn, the ring tempts you. I mean, it's cool. Scry 1. I dig it. The ring tempting you also can be dug. This is solid C. Everything's pretty C here. Elrond, Master of Healing. A blue, a green, and 2 for 4 elf noble. Whenever you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on up to X target creatures, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Now see, this is really good for scrying. This is powerful. This deserves an A if you're going in scry deck specifically. Eomer, Marshal of Rohan, 2 red and 2 human knight. It's a 4/4 with haste. Whenever one or more other attacking legendary creatures you control die, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. This ability triggers only once each turn. Can you imagine? This is pretty mean. Throw this in something like a Joda deck, big mean. As a commander, you're going to want to throw in other legendaries, and you're fine with them dying, honestly. Other than Eomer, I'd give this, I feel like I like this. It's a B from me. We got Eomer of the Rittermark, a red and 4 human knight, 5/4 with haste. Whenever he attacks, if you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. I mean, that's cool. You're making tokens. I see nothing wrong with that. You gotta have the most powerful creature. This one's gonna get a D for me. And you know what? I don't even see him on my list. Did I miss him? Oh no, here he is. How'd he get over there? And even this guy, this is the guy either. I put him up there. Sorry about that. Here you go. That's the right guy. Like it got off for some reason. Alright, Eowyn, Fearless Knight. Where's she at, big dog? She's over here too. It must be the weird, like, little click mark in their name. Throws them way down here. Alright, a white, a red, and 2 human knight. 3/4 with haste. Whenever she enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with greater power. Legendary creatures you control gain protection from each of that creature's colors until the end of the turn. This could be a big payoff if you get her out on the right moment. Other than that, she's I'm gonna go C for potential big payoff. Okay, Eowyn, Lady of Rohan, a white and 2 human noble 2/4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature of your choice gets first strike or vigilance until the end of the turn. If that creature is equipped, it gains first strike and vigilance until the end of the turn instead. Wait, what? Oh, it gains both. I see. Okay, yeah. I mean, see, this is dope. I like that. That's a very functionable commander. B. Here we go. Now we're going to Eric and Brand, Lord of Westford, for a red and 3. Human soldier 3/3. Whenever him or another human enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +1/+0 until the end of the turn. So you basically want to make lots of humans come out, which could be chill. It gets big, but you don't get your back in big. That's what's weird. I'm throwing a D on this, even though, I mean, it could be good, but it's a D for me. Fanghorn Tree Shepherd, 3 green and 4 tree folk, 4/10. Tree folk creatures you control have vigilance. Whenever one or more tree folk you control attacks, add twice that much green mana. You don't lose unspent green mana as steps and phases end. This is dope. This is powerful. This is one of my best videos that I've made so far, so another good one to check out. This gets an A from me. Faramir, Field Commander, a white and 3, human soldier, 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, draw a card. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Faramir as your ring bearer, create a 1/1 human soldier creature token. So you want the ring to tempt you to a lot. You want to kill some dudes. I like the draw. The draw's good. I think we're going to throw this in C. We have Faramir, Prince of Illithin, for a blue, a white, and 2 human noble 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, choose an opponent. At the beginning of that player's next end step, you draw a card. If they didn't attack you that turn, otherwise create 3 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. See, I think this is super dope. This is like all win-win. Win-win all the way down. We're going A. Fire. Oh, oops. Nope. A, blah, blah. Not those. It's Frodo Baggins. A white, a green. Halfling Scout 1/3. Whenever him or another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, the ring tempts you. As long as he's your ring bearer, he must be blocked if able. He's weird to me too. I mean, I guess he could be super nasty because the way the ring tempts you, it'll make them sacrifice things, you're gonna want to like make him indestructible or something. That's what's weird for me. I'm gonna give him an F. He's an F. I'm sorry, F for Frodo Baggins on that one. Then there's Frodo, Determined Hero, a white and 1 halfling warrior 2/2. Whenever he enters the battlefield or attacks, you may attach an equipment you control with mana value 2 or 3 to Frodo. As long as it's your turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to Frodo. I mean, this is cool. You're attaching equipment. It's a strong goal. I think this goes to B for me. Frodo, Sauron's Bane. 1 white, 1/2, halfling citizen. For a white or black and a white or black. If he's a citizen, he becomes a halfling scout with base power and toughness 2/3 and lifelink. Then for 3 black, if he's a scout, he becomes a halfling rogue with, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game if the ring has tempted you 4 or more times this game. Otherwise, the ring tempts you. See, this is nasty. This is the nasty Frodo. The Bane of Sauron Frodo. This is an A for Frodo. Galadriel Gift Giver. 2 green and 3 elf noble 4/4. Whenever she enters the battlefield or attacks, choose one of these. Put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature, or create a food token, or create a treasure token. And this is pretty much all mean all the way down. She's got a swing. I mean, she's a 4/4. 4/4 is good. I think I'll throw her in the B tier. Galadriel of Lothlorien. Blue and a green and 1 elf noble 3/3. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than her as your ring bearer, scry 3. Whenever you scry, you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, if a land is revealed this way, put it on the battlefield, taps a ramp. Scrying, you know what's going on. It's when the ring tempts you, so you're gonna need to make that happen. But this is fine. This is good to me. I feel like I'll go B on that for the easier ramp there. All right, Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, a blue and 3 avatar wizard 2/4. He has flash. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. That's powerful. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than him, you may draw a card. See, this is, I honestly believe, really good. I put this in the A tier for Gandalf, Friend of the Shire. Then there's Gandalf the Grey. He's a red, a blue, and 3 avatar wizard 3/4. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, choose one of these. You may tap or untap target permanent. Cool. You may deal 3 damage to each opponent. Also cool. Copy instant sorcery spell. Then you may choose new targets for the copy. Also cool. Then put him on top of his owner's library. See, this is weird. He's the more rare Gandalf, but I feel like he's not as good. Like, I feel like he's to the point where he's like a C because of his, you put him away stuff. I mean, I get it. It takes a little bit to put him away, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Gandalf the White, 2 white and 3, avatar wizard 4/5, flash. You may cast legendary spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. If a legendary permanent or an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a trigger ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that trigger happens an additional time, basically. I mean, that's mean. This is big mean. This is a mean Gandalf. Yeah, it's a different type of mean, in my opinion, and you can get some even bigger payoff. So we're throwing him an A, especially if you're like bouncing stuff. I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Gandalf, White Rider, for a white and 3 avatar wizard 3/3. He's got vigilance. He has, whenever you cast a spell, creatures you control get +1/+0 until the end of the turn, and you scry 1. And whenever he dies, you may put it into its owner's library, 5th from the top. Kind of strange. Could do good. Possibly worse than the other the worst Gandalf I've already rated. I'll throw this one on a D. That's the worst of the Gandalfs. Gimli, Counter of Kills, a red and 3, Dwarf Warrior, 4/3 with Trample. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, he deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. I think this is good. I mean, honestly, pure B stats, real good. Gimli, Mournful Avenger, a green, a red 1, Dwarf Warrior 3/2. He is indestructible as long as 2 or more creatures died under your control this turn, which is kind of interesting. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on him. When this ability resolves for a 3rd time this turn, he fights up to 1 other target creature you don't control. So it's like, what, you want to make a bunch of tokens and kill him off? It's interesting. How quickly and easily do you do that? I haven't really seen anybody play this deck. I feel like it's kind of strange. I'm throwing it in the D tier because my brain doesn't wrap around it right, I suppose. We got Glowing Dwarf Emissary, red and 2, Dwarf Advisor 3/3. Whenever you cast a historic spell, create a treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Sacrifice a treasure, goad target creature. I mean, that's cool. You'd have to have it's artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. So, for the most part, you're only doing that on your turn. Unless you have something like Gandalf out to help you, but you're not going to do it with him as the commander. It's not like it's bad. I mean, making some treasure ramp is always good. I think this goes, for me, it'll go C. It's fine for the C. The goading, all that. Glorfindel, Dauntless Rescuer, a green and 2, Elf Noble 3/2. Whenever you scry, choose 1. She is 1/1 until the end of the turn. And and then one of these, I guess. She must be blocked this turn if able, or she can't be blocked by more than 1 creature each combat this turn. She's kind of strange. Choose 1 and gets that. It's just weird. It's a D for me. It's just weird. I'm not working with it. Goldberry River Daughter, blue and 1/1/3 nymph. You can tap her, move a counter of each kind onto her from another target permanent you control. You can pay a blue and tap her and move 1 or more counters from her onto another target permanent you control. And if you do, draw a card. She's weird. You want a bunch of weird counters. She could be a pretty fun deck. I feel like she could be good. She could be bad. I'm going to throw her in the C tier for the balancing act that you have to play with her. Golem, Patient Plotter, a black and 1, halfling horror 3/1. When he leaves the battlefield during Temshu, you can sack a creature and return him from the graveyard to your hand. I feel like this dude's so slow. For the ring tempting you, it's weird. I feel like he goes in F tier on this one. Golem, Scheming Guide, a black and 1, halfling horror 2/1. Whenever he attacks, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put them back in any order, then choose a land or a non-land. An opponent guesses whether the top card of your library is the chosen kind. Reveal that card. If they guessed right, you remove him from combat. Otherwise, you draw the card and he can't be blocked this turn. Super weird. I don't even know what to think. I'm throwing it in the C tier though, because it's just kind of fun. Gorebag of Morgul, a black and 1, orc soldier 2/2. Whenever him or another orc you control deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, choose one of these, draw a card or create a treasure token. I like the ramp. It's got to be goblins and orcs, which you could do. I mean, throw in some red if you could, it'd be real good, but you got ramp, you got draw. I don't know. I feel like this goes in B tier for me because you got the orcs, you want to swing them. Gothmog, Morgul Lieutenant, a black and 3, human soldier 3/3. When he enters the battlefield, amass orcs 1. Creature tokens you control have death touch. I think that's fantastic. Just giving creature tokens death touch. We gotta throw them in the B tier because of just death touch, you know. Grima Wormtongue, a black and 2, human advisor 1/4. Your opponents can't gain life, which is great. You can sacrifice another creature. Target player loses 1 life. If the sacrificed creature was a legendary, amass orcs 2. I don't know. I feel like this is slow and weird. Honestly, I'm throwing it in the F tier. Then there's Grishnak, Brash Instigator, a red and 2, goblin soldier 1/1. Whenever he enters the battlefield, amass Orcs 2. When you do, until the end of the turn, gain control of target non-legendary creature an opponent controls with power less than or equal to the amassed army's power. Untap that creature, it gains haste. I mean, this is just like a fancy gain control of target creature. It really doesn't even work that great as a commander. He's like a good backup boy. We'll throw him in the D because he could just be a little bit of fun. Oh my gosh. Gwayher, the Wind Lord. I've never even seen this one. Blue and white and 4. Bird Noble 4/4. The spell costs 2 colors less to cast as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. Flying Vigilance. Other birds you control have Vigilance. I mean, that's honestly fine. You just want to draw and have birds. I draw and I have birds. That's what I do. I'm throwing this in the C tier. I love the Vigilance on the birds. And you're going to have to pardon me. I'm getting a drink, dude. I'm talking a lot. Alright, we're back. We're making noises with water bottles. And we're moving on to Earweth of the Healing House. A blue and 2 human cleric 1/4. You can tap You can tap to untap another target permanent, or you can tap and untap 2 other target legendary creatures. So throw in a bunch of legendaries, keep them untapped. I'm really not mad at this. I think we're going E tier, because untapping can just be good. It's King of the Oathbreakers, a black, a white, and 2 Spirit Noble 3/3. Whenever him or another spirit you control becomes a target of a spell, it phases out. Whenever him or another spirit you control phases in, create a tapped 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. I think this is super interesting, honestly. I really want to make a deck around it. I think I might try a commander deck out in real life with him once I, get there. I have a bunch of commanders I want to make, but this is up there on the list. I want to, with the phasing out and the stuff, it's just crazy. I want to give it a B. We got Landraval, Horizon Witness, a white and 4, Bird Noble 3/4. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, target attacking creature without flying gains flying until the end of the turn. This is honestly fine. I tested this one out in the video. I'm gonna give it a D. It's expensive for what it does, in my opinion. Legolas, Counter of Kills, a blue, a green, and 2 elf archer 2/3. He has a reach. Whenever you scry, if he's tapped, you may untap him. Do this only once each turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on him. Not opposed to it. Kind of strange. You got reach, so it's when you scry. So you want a scry deck? For me, this goes in the D tier, I think. Just kind of, the making it big is good, Legolas, Master Archer, 2 green and 1 elf archer 1/4 with reach. Whenever you cast a spell that targets him, put a +1/+1 counter on him. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you don't control, he deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature. Now see, this is a better Legolas. This is cool. You could do some pretty mean stuff with this. I'm throwing this in the B tier as well. We got Lobelia, Sackville Baggins. Wow, never seen her really before either. A black and 2 halfling citizen 2/3 with flash and menace. Whenever she enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from an opponent's graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn, then create X treasure tokens where X is the exiled card's power. So she's just like a big ramp. She's interesting. I guess you could do mean stuff with her. I just don't know what. But big, I call this big ramp. And it's endgame ramp. Dude, that's what's weird. Unless you like bouncer, I guess. I don't know. You probably just want to save her for endgame. I'm throwing D tier. Lotho, Corrupt Sheriff, a black and white halfling rogue 2/1. Whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, you lose a life and create a treasure token. That's interesting. So you want to gain life. You're getting treasure, but you have to compensate by gaining life. The treasure's good for me. I'll throw him in this D tier. And I like Orzhov. Alright. Maher. Uruk-hai Captain. A red and black orc soldier. 2/2 with menace. If one or more +1 counters will be put on an army, goblin, or orc you control, put that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. Yeah, so it just gets an extra +1 counter. That's all it's saying. I mean, you gotta go orc army. He's better in, like, you know, the side. I think I'll throw him in the D tier. He's better in the 90. It's Meneldor, Swift Savior for a blue and 3 bird soldier, 3/3. He has flying. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, exile target creature you own, then return to the battlefield under your control. This is honestly super powerful, more powerful than Landraville, and cheaper too. That's what's kind of crazy. With the enter the battlefield effects is honestly awesome. We throw Meneldor in B tier. When I played with him, I had a lot of fun. Maria Doc Brandybuck, a green and 1, 2/2 halfling citizen. Whenever one or more halflings you control attack a player, create a food token. So you gotta have a bunch of halflings, I guess, and a bunch of food. I don't know, man. This is an F tier for me. I'm not feeling it. It's Mary, Esquire of Rohan, for a white and red halfling knight, 2/2 haste. Whenever, or he has first strike as long as he's equipped. Whenever you attack with him and another legendary creature, you draw a card. There's nothing wrong with this. Draw. First strike, that's good. I think I throw this in C. And then we have, if I can find it, it's Old Man Willow, which I love the aesthetic. It's a green, a black, and 2 tree folk. He's got asterisk for toughness and power. His power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control, which can be awesome. Whenever he attacks, you may sacrifice another creature or a token. When you do, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-2 until the end of the turn. Honestly, I think this is really powerful. I would chalk this in the B tier for me because I think it's pretty powerful. Peregrine took a green and 2 halfling citizen, 2/3. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus an additional food token are created instead. You can sack 3 food tokens to draw a card. Kind of slow for drawing, but I mean, hey, you got life gain. You want to do a token deck. I want to say this is a C for me. I go with the C. It's Pippin, Guard of the Citadel, a blue and white halfling soldier, 2/2 with vigilance and ward 1. You can tap him, and another target creature you control gains protection from the card type of your choice until the end of the turn. I think this is nasty. Protection, vigilance, tap, ward, mean. Just mean all the way around. Protection, honestly, is it A tier for me? Gotta give it into the A tier for the protection. It's Prince Imrahil the Fair, okay, a blue and white human noble, 2/2. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. So you want to draw a lot. There's nothing wrong with this. I throw this in C for nothing wrong. Quick Beam, Upstart Ent, 2 green and 4 tree folk, 5/6. Whenever him or another tree folk enters the battlefield under your control, up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+2 and gain trample until the end of the turn. I mean, that's good. And especially if you're going with more tree folks given trample, +2/+2. I mean, I'm down with this. Like, a little expensive, but I'll throw it in C for what it is, I guess. It's Radagast the Brown, 2 green and 2, Avatar Wizard, 2/5. Whenever him or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top X card to your library, where X is that creature's mana value. You may reveal a creature card that doesn't share a creature type with the creature you control from among the cards and put it in your hand. Put the rest of the body of your library in a random order. You want a bunch of different creatures with different creature types. And I honestly, this card's big mean in my opinion. You're just getting more and more, you know, Creacharos. I think we'll go as a commander himself, B tier. You just go from creature to creature to creature. It's creature feature. It's Rosie Cotton of South Lane for a white and 2, halfling peasant 1/1. Whenever she enters the battlefield, create a food token. Whenever you create a token, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control other than her. I think this is mean. You're making a bunch of tokens, you're putting +1 counters on them. You can do super mean stuff with her. I'm gonna throw her at C, though, because she could do bad if you build a bad deck. I guess it's anybody, right? But you want a lot of creatures. You want to be able to make a lot of tokens. She can go off, though, don't get me wrong. Samwise Gamgee for a white and green. Halfling Peasant 2/2. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a food. You can sack 3 foods and return a historic card from your graveyard to your hand. I think this is a little slow, honestly. Make a lot of food. You return cards. It's fun. It's fine. I'm not against it. It's a C. Honestly, Rosie's better. Rosie should probably be a B, but we already did it. It's Samwise the Stout-Hearted, a white and 1 human peasant, 2/1 with flash. When he enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 target permanent card from your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. Return it to your hand. And then the ring tempts you. He's fine. You'd want to bounce him. He's whatever, honestly. He's a big whatever. I think he goes in the D tier. Like, he could come in clutch towards endgame, I suppose. Zardock, Master of Buckland, a white and 3, halfling citizen 2/4. Whenever him or another non-token creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white halfling creature token. You can tap 2 other halflings you control, and then he gets +2/+0 and gains lifelink until the end of the turn. He's honestly kind of cool. Potentially a little slow. I played with him some too. I had a lot of fun with him, though. I'm going to throw him in, honestly, B tier. He's better than those guys. It's Saruman of many colors, a black, a blue, a white, and 3 avatar wizard 5/4. He has a ward of discard an enchantment, instant, or sorcery card, which is a pretty powerful ward. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, each opponent mills 2 cards. Whenever 1 or more cards are milled this way, exile target enchantment, instant, or sorcery card with equal or lesser mana value. Then that spell from an opponent's graveyard. Copy the exiled card. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. I think this is big mean. You could do a lot of big mean with it. I haven't tested it. He's a little expensive. I'll throw him in B, but I think it's B for big mean. It's Saruman the White, a blue and 4 avatar wizard 4/4 with ward 2. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, amass orcs 2. He's a little expensive for my taste. He'd be fine. He's honestly just going D tier. It's Sauron the Dark Lord, a red, a black, a blue, and 3 avatar horror 7/6 with a very powerful ward of sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature. And then whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass orcs 1. And then whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. And then whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand if you do draw 4 cards. This is honestly super mean. I have a commander deck of it in real life. It's pretty fun. I'm throwing him in the A tier. He's just wow mean. Then there's Sauron the Lidless Eye for a red, a black, and 3 avatar horror 4/4. When he enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature an opponent controls until the end of the turn. Untap it. It gains haste until the end of the turn. You can pay a red, a black, and 1, and creatures you control get +2/+0 until the end of the turn, and each opponent loses 1 life, or 2 life. He's fine, honestly. The other one is meaner in my opinion. This one's like kind of whatever, but he's fine. He can go in the C for being like a better version of that goblin that we saw earlier. Then there's Sauron the Necromancer for 2 black and 3 avatar horror 4/4 with menace. Whenever he attacks, exile target creature card from your graveyard, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that, except it's a 3/3 black wraith with menace. At the beginning of the next end step, exile the token unless Sauron is your ring bearer. Honestly, this is super mean in my opinion. Not as good as the other Sauron, the best Sauron, but better than the other Sauron. We're gonna go with B tier on this Sauron. I think this is a pretty fun one. Shadowfax, Lord of Horses, for a white, a red, and 3 horse. 4/4. Horses you control have haste. Whenever he attacks, you may put a creature card with lesser mana or value from your hand on the battlefield tapped and attacking. I mean, it's horse tribal. What are you going to say about it? With haste, it's just cool. It's a C. Shagrat Loot Bearer, a red, a black, and 2 Orc Soldier 4/4. Whenever he attacks, attach up to 1 target equipment to it, then amass Orc's X, where X is the number of equipment attached to him. As long as you have him protected or whatever. This guy's so mean. This deck can be so fast. This is one of my most successful long-term videos that I've made. Getting ready to do another alternative version of Shagrat. I absolutely love Shagrat. Plus, you can steal opponents' equipments, not just your own, and equip them for free. It's just crazy. We're going with an A tier for Shagrat Loot Bearer. It's Sharky, Tyrant of the Shire. A black, a blue, and 2 Avatar Rogue 2/4. He has activated abilities of lands your opponents control, and then opponents' lands activated abilities can't be activated, and then he has all activated abilities of those lands, and then you can cast mana of any type to use those abilities. He's freaking weird. I mean, just weird. I played with him too, and I'm just saying he's weird. I don't know how to. He can be good. He's dependent upon your opponent's lands. Otherwise, he's just like a dude. I don't know. It's strange. He's going D tier. It's Shelob, Child of Ungoliant. A green, a black, and 4 spider demon 8/8 with Death Touch and Ward 2. Other spiders you control have Death Touch and Ward 2. Whenever another creature is dealt damage this turn by a spider, whenever a creature dealt damage this turn by a spider dies, you create a token that's a copy of that, except for it's a food artifact with pay 2, tap it, sack this artifact, and you gain 3 life, and it loses all other card types. It's honestly slower than I want, but it's really cool and powerful. I feel like in a 4-player commander game, it could be really fun. I'm giving it a B tier. It's Smeagol, Helpful Guide. For a green, a black, and 1 halfling horror 4/2. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, target opponent reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card. Put that card on the battlefield tapped into your control and the rest into their graveyard. This is like some mill. This is crazy ring. You get lands from their side of the field. I don't know. I think it's super cool. I'd throw this one also. Also in the B tier, like being able to basically ramp from your opponents. I don't know. I dig it. I really, really dig it. It's Strider, Ranger of the North. A green, a red, and 2 human ranger 4/4 with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn. Then if that creature has 4 or greater, that creature's power is 4 or greater, it gains first strike until the end of the turn. I mean, it's cool. There's nothing wrong with this. It's a C. It's the Balrog, Durin's Bane, a red, a black, and 5 Avatar Demon 7/5. This spell costs 1 colorless less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this turn. He has haste. He can't be blocked except by legendary creatures. When he dies, destroy target artifact or creature an opponent controls. This is the more powerful Balrog, if I remember right. Can't be blocked except by legendary creatures is pretty good. There's just nothing wrong with this. It's just, other than that, it's expensive, so it goes in the C tier. This is the weird Balrog, the Balrog Flame of Udun, or a red, a black, and 3 Avatar Demon 7/7 with trample. Whenever a legendary creature an opponent controls dies, put him on the bottom of your library. That's what's so weird, man. This goes in F tier for that alone. It's so weird. It's the Mouth of Sauron, a black, a blue, and 3 human advisor 3/4. Whenever the Mouth of Sauron enters the battlefield, target player mills 3 cards. Then you amass Orc's X, where X is the number of instant sorcery cards in that player's graveyard. This came in clutch in the pre-release that I played. As a commander itself, I mean, I guess you're probably milling yourself to guarantee there's a lot of instants and sorceries in the graveyards if you're wanting to amass. I don't know, it's just weird. It's kind of weird as a commander, so we're going D. There's Theoden, King of Rohan, a white, a red, and 1 human noble 2/3. Whenever him or another human enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gains double strike in the end of turn. He's honestly big mean, and not everybody would think that, but he is, so he's going in B tier. It's the Watcher in the Water, 2 blue and 3, Kraken, 9/9. 9/9/9. Whenever he enters the battlefield, he enters tapped with 9 stun counters on him. Whenever you draw a card during an opponent's turn, create a 1/1 blue tentacle creature token. Whenever a tentacle you control dies, untap 1 target Kraken and put a stun counter on up to 1 target non-land permanent. It doesn't tap that permanent, but it puts a stun counter on it. So when they do choose to attack or tap or whatever, then they can't untap until their next turn. Honestly, I played with this deck too. Definitely one of my favorite decks that I played with in Lord of the Rings set. He's a little expensive, a little hard to untap. You actually don't really care about him. You care much more about his tentacles and like drawing. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to call him an A tier commander though, because he's just a little funky donkey. So I'll put him in the B tier, even though I'm going to put him in the A tier actually, just because I like him with his aesthetic. That's on me though, so here it is. It's Tom Bombadil, a green, a red, a black, a blue, and a white, a god bard 4/4. As long as there are 4 or more lore counters among sagas you control, he has hexproof and indestructible. Whenever the final chapter ability of a saga you control resolves, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a saga. Put that card on the battlefield and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. This ability triggers only once each turn. He's an absolute mad lad. I've heard he's kind of slow if you play with him, but he sounds so fun. He's going B tier. It's a Gluck of the White Hand, a red, a black, and 2 orc soldier 3/3. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on him. If that creature was a goblin or an orc, put 2 +1/+1 counters instead. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. It's not great either, though. I'm gonna throw it in the C tier. We got Witch King, Bringer of Ruin for 2 black and 4. Wraith Noble, 5/3 with flying. Whenever he attacks, defending player sacrifices a creature with the least power among creatures they control. I mean, that's cool. A little expensive. That's cool, though. I like the sacrifice. I'm not against this at all. Just for this expense, though, it's going C tier. There's Witch King of Angmar, 2 black and 3. Wraith Noble, 5/3 with flying. Whenever 1 or more creatures deal combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat damage to you this turn, and then the ring tempts you. You can discard a card and he can gain indestructible until the end of the turn, and then you tap him. I don't know, he can be so powerful in my opinion. I like that they sacrifice when they deal damage to you. I feel like I'm throwing this in the B tier for some of that stuff. So that's it. That's my ratings. This is where I'm at. What do you think? Did I do good on rating things? Did I do horrible? Is there something I rated low that you're like, no, man, that's so good, and I'm just not thinking of it, you know? I'm not the best Magic player in the entire world. Anyway, let's try to find the best commander of the set, in my opinion. Looking at the ones that I picked for the A tier, I honestly think the best commander of the set is Aragorn the Uniter. He's an absolute mad lad. He's a 4-color commander, which is just weird as dinky donk. I really would like to play with him. Even my cat agrees that he's the best commander. So, let's look into the worst commander here. We got quite a few choices, but I don't think anybody is as bad as this version of the Balrog. I mean, going on the bottom of your library when a legendary creature is killed in commander when there's a bunch of legendary creatures on the field. What the dinkle donk, man. I don't agree with this. It's like I want to make a deck around it just because of how bad it is. So there you go. What do you think? Did I pick the best? Did I pick the worst? Am I in the right here? Am I in the wrong? Please let me know in the comments. I'm going to do some other ranking. I want to catch up with the ranking videos I missed, and we're hitting up Wilds of Eldraine. That's the current set. It's going crazy. Really appreciate your time today. Really appreciate you stopping by the channel. If you've made it this far, please just subscribe to the channel already. You know, it's going to help my channel grow, and I just really appreciate it so much. You really have no clue. All right, peace, goodbye, later, love, later, deuce.